In the last video I mentioned about creativeblock.com, and you get things through your email usually every day about new things that's in the world of graphic design, web design, and all sorts of creative pursuits. The other, what I always know them for is .NET Mag, which is the biggest selling web design magazine on the planet. And usually, I know it's in the UK, but I think they do send to other parts of the world as well. And yeah, it's quite a good magazine. You know, you can subscribe to it and things like this. But anyway, in today's email that I got, it's on about best code editors. And for you people who are usually using Bootstrap Studio, and Bootstrap Studio goes so far, but sometimes you just want something that, you know, you can practice your skills and things like that on, and it's quite difficult to do when you're using Bootstrap Studio. So a code editor or an HTML editor would solve this solution. So here they've got the best code editors, and of course this type of thing is subjective. If you're not used to these things, and it can seem quite daunting. The first one here that they mention is Sublime Text 3, and it says the best code editor all around, but you'll have to pay for it. You don't necessarily have to pay for it because usually you can use it without doing that, but you have all these pop-ups and stuff. I've never really gotten on with it, but as I say, it is subjective, and other people are looking for different things in code editors. You know, just like, you know, if you take photographs like I do and things, most people probably use Photoshop, and that I don't like Photoshop. It's just too complex for me. Things like GIMP as well, which is another one that I kind of get my head around. All I want is something that's simple and easy to use. With Sublime Text, it suits many people, you know, and that's fine. You know, it's just not for me. But yeah, so it's $80 for a license if you wanted to go that way. But I would, if you're just doing this as a hobby or something like that, then maybe that's not the best way to go. The other one is at number 2, Visual Studio Code, and I've used this very seldom, so I'm not really the best person to say anything about that one. But a lot of people find this really very, very good one to use. As it says here, about it has plus points and minus points. Good for complex, larger projects, and very robust. Slow to start up though. But as I say, I'm not really used to that. I've only used it a few times. The other one, number 3, and this is Atom. Atom is something that I've used quite a lot of, and I'm pretty neutral about Atom. It's quite nice to look at, but I find it has a lot of bugs in it. So, you know, that's just for my, you know, for what I would do. Atom is something that's maybe easy to use. One good thing about it is you can use it across platforms. So you can use it on your Windows, you can use it on Mac operating systems, and I think I've even used it on Linux. I cannot be certain about that, but I think I have. Right, what's the next one? 4 is another very popular one, which is Brackets. Brackets is free, and it goes right across the board. Them say the pros especially suit the Mac operating system. Not quite sure why that would be. Some performance issues is the minus. Simple customization options, pleasant looking UI. You can get some fantastic themes for Brackets. And out of these 4 ones at the top, this would be my one that I would. I've actually mentioned about this on the channel. And yeah, it's okay. And that's. I was thinking about doing like a code school thing, and Brackets would be the one that I would use for people who were, you know, just going into the web design, or they want to learn about it. Plus, of course, it's free, and it goes right across Linux, and this is especially suited to Mac operating systems. Not sure why that would be. It's Windows as well. You can have less and SAS and everything like that in these. Another one is Vim. Vim is, oh, it's complex. I kind of get used to it. Included in Linux operating system and Mac as well. Yes, it is. I've used it on Linux before. It ain't for me. But of course, as I say, subjective. And what else? Right, next page. So there are some of the most popular choices. And let's go to the next page. So what have we got here then? Notepad++. And again, these are all popular ones. And Notepad++ is something that's up from your Notepad that you get on Windows, but it's it's got code folding and all the rest of it. But it's also free, and it's also extremely boring user interface. GNU Emacs, and oops, just skip that a little bit there. And this is found in Linux, or it's for Linux, and it's actually for Mac as well. I didn't know that, but and Windows. Did I say it was free? It is free, and I don't know anything about it. Okay, Komodo Edit. Well, Komodo Edit. This is the free version, and this goes across all platforms too, all the major platforms. Komodo Edit has got some fabulous things, but it doesn't have something called Emmet plugin, which I wouldn't use a code editor without it. So, and I've asked them why this is, but it seems a bit they don't marry up for some reason. Anyway, Komodo Edit, it's okay. And the next one, Buffer Edit, which is $8.99, platform iOS. So I don't know anything about that. And CoffeeCup HTML editor, used this for years, absolute rubbish. It's got price free version. I'm not sure which one that was for, and or $49 free trial, platform Windows. You've never improved CoffeeCup HTML editor. It's way behind the rest. It's poor interface. I was using this probably about 15 years ago, or a version of this. It's just so poor for this time, for the modern era. It just doesn't kick it, and it's yes, and the support, the famous support it always goes on about, not as good as it should be either. Coda, I don't know. Operating system, Mac, not sure about that. Price $99. If you've got a Mac, that is expensive, that. And DroidEdit Pro. Right, I might have to try this one. It's $1.99 UK or $2.49. Platform Android. Bracket matching, Dropbox, SFT, so that's on your smartphone, tablet, I would imagine. And Textastic, powerful and fast text editor for iPad. Don't know anything about it. $9.99. It's, if you're using it a lot, that's not a bad price really. Okay, so that's that summed up. So there's a few there choices. I'll give you again the URL of that. My favorite of all time is this Tweak Style, and it's been probably my favorite for quite some time now. Only problem with it is that it's struggled for the development and getting money for it, and this is where the people who were making it was only a team. It was a very small team that was making it in France. Very fair-minded people, and I think it just what happened was the people, the developers and that, they had to get web design jobs to actually keep, obviously they have to make money somehow, and they couldn't get the money to keep on with this, so it's not updated all the time, but it's still a very modern, a very modern code editor, and it's definitely my favorite that I've ever tried. And it's a shame really, but they just didn't get the money for it. So anyway, another thing I would like to touch on as well from Creative Block was this here. 11 drawn books. I'm just going to take a drink. Alright, just got a dry mouth. Okay, the best drawn books to get you clued up on everything from figure drawing and cartoons to art theory. The reason why I'm just bringing this up is because if you the way I've always said about how to, draw things out first before you design them, for web design. It also goes on things like user interface and UX design. If you can sketch a bit, then that gives you an edge. And I always think you can improve your drawing. And this here is just a few books from the same people, as I said, Creative Block. Again, I'll give you the URL. The drawing the head and hands, this type of thing is probably not any relation to what I'm on about, but it's the way to see things. If you can't draw and you think it's just the Da Vinci's of the world that can do it, but you can still improve. And that is no way. There used to be a thing is you have to be an artist to be a web designer. That isn't true at all. There's two totally different things. Even a graphic designer, you don't have to be able to draw, but people who used to say that, I just think that's silly. The two different pursuits. But I do think that you should be able to sketch a little bit, just to, just so you can draw things out, give things in your mind, have a sketchbook in your hand, or in your, if you're in your car or something like that, just doing ideas that come into your mind. And there's a few books here that, pocket art, portrait drawing, maybe that's portraits is not really anything to do with what I'm on about, but anything that just gets your eye in. My background is in art and design, so for me, I'm always like at the Sketch Encyclopedia, over 900 drawn projects, something like that. These are expensive, the books. Some of them, books are expensive. Tutorial books are. Now this one here, Drawn on the Right Side of the Brain, is an excellent book. It's been out years and years. New York Times bestseller. Betty Edwards, fantastic. This is the one I would recommend to buy, and I haven't got this version. It's $12.98 from Amazon. That's UK money, and it's a fabulous. The first version that I read might even still have it somewhere. But she fabulous teaching, and how to draw comics and stuff like that. That's not really. I don't think that would be any use. But the thing is, art fundamentals as well. Something, it's just learning about things all the time. And I'm just giving you this as an example. Udemy have things on art and design and stuff like that. If you were interested in these type of things, and it's always helping your skill levels as well. Drawing the head and figure, as I say, maybe it's not something that that is relevant, but it's still, if you can draw one thing, you can draw another. I firmly believe that. If you can get your hand in, and it used to be a way of life for me once over, but I got bored of it. So I just thought I'd bring those things to your attention, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Okay, so thanks for watching.